Welcome back to the farm, everyone. There's no doubt about it. It definitely feels like fall. And O'Malley likes to bark. Oh, we gotta do something productive. We're not doing anything. What can we do that's productive? I think gardening season's over for the year, especially because the chickens have found the garden. We're gonna have to fence this thing in next year, probably. And look what we've acquired to our outdoor herd. A little black cat. She's hissing at the dogs. They're not quite acquainted yet, even though the dogs would never hurt her. Lucky says,
"Oh, hi, I hope you enjoy your stay. Is there anything I can do while you're here? Can I sniff you? I really like to sniff you. I'm not gonna bite you. I just want to sniff you."
Speaking of cats, my buddy who hunts a field of ours to the south about a mile had a bobcat on his trail cam, so we're gonna have to keep a close eye on the chickens and even the cat. I don't think a bobcat could take down the dogs. Although I also saw a coyote yesterday that I did my best to deter him, but I missed. You can fill in the blanks and use your imagination what that involved. So we've got animals in the area, particularly ones that would eat chickens. And if there's anything we're gonna defend, it's our flock. The coyotes really get lucky going. He spends about 30 minutes every evening after sunset barking. Must be trying to keep them away. When we lived in town, it took me about 15 minutes to get to work. Now it takes 20 seconds. Instead of being that much earlier, I just use the extra 14 minutes and 40 seconds to mess around in the yard every morning. Big machine's back at the fuel barrel, topping her off. I don't know if we have any corn that'll go this morning. We'll probably go around and look. The sun stays out and the wind blows. Maybe this afternoon we can cut some beans. Not gonna hold my breath on that one. The corn's got that black fungus on it like it did last year. That was only one field and the X9's already really dirty. Dad and I ran up to the elevator before we take the grain cart home and ear tested some Pioneer 117-day corn that showed 22% and change. Might pick a load or two of it this morning to get some inrows off, but I don't know that that's going to be dry enough to really run hard on. Dad just dropped me off at the cart. Who knows what he's going to do. I'm going to bring this home. A lot of trucks moving already to the elevator. I would bet there's going to be a ton of corn picked today. That's particularly the case because the two bigger elevators on the north side of Mattoon Coal Station and Dorns, which is a little bit to the east, they're offering half-price drying today. It's an incentive to get farmers to pick corn. Because planting was so late, there isn't as much dry corn coming in. There's not a lot of beans coming in because it's so damp from the rain. They may cut this afternoon, they may not. And they offer that as kind of a carrot to get you to bring bushels in. And Kohl's, I don't think in particular, was planning on offering that. What motivated them to do that is that one of their competitors, Dorns, is offering half-price drying. It's one of those business deals with competition where if one company is offering a really good deal, the other company almost has to match that deal, or they're gonna lose out on hundreds of thousands of bushels in one day that they could be making money off of because the other one's being a little more competitive. It's definitely a little moist out this morning, not nearly as damp as yesterday. Sun shining, clear skies, wind blowing. There is a small chance that soybeans would be getting close. Any other farmers with battery shutoffs on their equipment, which is a lot of you anymore, do you shut your batteries off every night? I know you don't have to because a lot of electrical systems are pretty reliable and don't have short leaks in them, but it seems like it's easier to just go ahead and shut them off. What do you guys do? Do you turn them on, leave them off? What's the answer? Get this thing ready for the road. A long 7-mile journey. Making our way downtown, walking fast, faces passing them homebound. It's gonna be hard to fuel this up with the big combine blocking the tank. May just find a nice cozy spot out of the way to park for now. This'll do for now. I'm gonna go check a few fields. I think I know the answer, but I gotta do my due diligence anyways. If nothing looks like it'll go this morning, I may talk to the higher ups about hooking up the inline ripper on the big 4-wheel drive tractor. I think we have some spots like up there where we picked yesterday, where we did all the dirt work the bulldozer ran, that could greatly benefit from some decompacting, and an inline ripper is about the best thing you can do. Set it at 15 inches and pull the snot out of it, hopefully break up any of that deep setted compaction layer that could be dragging our yields down. We also need to finish shutting up these bins here at the main farm. Even if these beans are mature now, south of our farm, we had so much rain, ground conditions may be a limiting factor. It may not even go today if the beans are dry. Interesting, I happened to stop exactly where there's a bucket full of some kind of gross yellow looking stuff. I'm just gonna probably move it. I should probably move that. I don't know what that is. It smells like what it looks like. I just didn't want to leave it in the field because that doesn't need to go through the combine. We did not put that there. We would not pee in a bucket and put the bucket in the field. We would actually just pee in the field. I don't know why you'd go through all the extra hoops. Oh yeah, ground is super damp. Beans don't look bad. Tough. Too tough to cut for sure. Let's check the moisture on them. I'm having a hard time just getting them out of the pod, so probably a no-go already. Not too far off. 16 or 17. They wouldn't go till after dinner at the earliest. Oh no. 18 plus. No chance these go today. Ground's too wet anyways. Wow. Yeah, we can cross that idea off the list. Do I at least kick it over and let nature take its course? The uniformity is out there for sure. Those would cut if they were dry enough, and of course the ground was dry enough. It is a non-issue right now, don't even have to worry about it. Dad and I just had a very brief, calm, and civilized discussion about what we should do this morning. He agreed that the soybeans are too wet and a lot of our fields are too wet, yet he wants to try to pick some in-rows off while they have half-price drying. That'll give us a little more logistical freedom on some of these fields, access to lanes and room to turn around. I argued that I think we're gonna make a mess, and I'm normally the gung-ho one. He wants to try to pick corn here in a little bit. Is that blood? Wouldn't surprise me. While he's off doing paperwork, and there's a lot of paperwork to do on the farm anymore, I may try to sneak out that inline ripper against his will. It's not really against his will, I didn't ask him. With that being said, I may be looking for a job if he doesn't approve. So if anyone's hiring, I'll send you my resume. It'd be nice if we had more fields of corn, sub 20% moisture on ground that isn't wet, because we would definitely make use of this half-price drying. It saves you quite a bit of money because it's cheaper than paying full price for drying. I'm sure you could have figured that one out on your own. I've mentioned numerous times that everything is behind schedule because our planting season was just so delayed from rainfall. This weekend, the remnants of Hurricane Helen are supposed to come up this way. Anywhere from 0 to 3 inches of rain is what's forecasted, so that'll put us out of the field for a little bit longer. It's still September, so it's not the end of the world, but you like to get things done when you can. I didn't even get my toes wet on the inline ripper project. I had to move the diesel exhaust fluid tank because the hose was just a little bit too short to reach the combines while we're fueling up without moving the combine a little bit more. And by the time Chris, Jeff, and I got that moved, Dad showed up and fired up the combine. So we're gonna go see if we can make a mess or not. I think I know the answer to that. Dad's headed 3/4 of a mile southwest of the farm down there. There's standing water this morning when I drove there, so we'll see. Harvesting is a lot different than planting because it's like a drug for farmers almost. And not in a bad way, just in a you start it and you can't stop type of deal. Once you get the wheels turning, and it's hard to stop that inertia going forward. With planting, you know better. If the fields are too wet, you have to stop. Harvest, if the moisture's close enough, the crop's mature, sometimes you probably do things you shouldn't. This is where I saw that coyote yesterday. Don't know if he'll gather the courage to come back up our way or not. Probably. Ah, look at those nice ruts he made first thing. Beautiful. This was the first field I planted technically. I had some seed in the hoppers from setting the planter 3 or 4 weeks earlier. 109-day pioneer corn versus 117-day pioneer corn out in the field. There's a big difference in maturity between those two. And for some reason there's a massive chunk of water hit there, probably water damage. We got some wet holes down here. quite a bit of corn on the ground. Could be head shell, could be going out the back. It's hard to say for sure, but I'm seeing it out here and even over there. I almost bet it is head shell. This is where he stopped to unload. I would think if it was going out the back of the combine, there'd be a larger amount where he just let the stuff run. And there is some right there. You go back here though, and you don't see a whole lot, so I don't really know what to tell him. You're getting a lot of corn on the ground, Dad. I don't know if you need to close your deck plates up a little bit or where it's coming from. Trying to catch the combine in action. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's just run her up. Make another pass right there in the west spot. That was sarcasm if you couldn't understand that. In a row. I'm guessing that this north end is all we're going to do. Maybe one truckload in totality. I wonder what the monitor on the combine showed. Oh wow, 178 bushels. That's not very good. Harvested 4.8 acres and I had 908 bushels on. Where's the calculator at on this thing? 908, that's not right. 908 divided by 4.8. Yep, 189 bushel an acre. That's terrible. And that's wet yield. We took a little lunch break. It's been in the mid 70s. Sun's been out intermittently and the wind's been blowing. We think that some of these beans we had to leave 7 days ago may actually cut today. Maybe. It's a pretty big if. The bare areas of the field have firmed up a lot. It was kind of squishy earlier and now not too bad. Ah, nice 4-bean pod. Wow, those are dried out a lot. Some jobs are hard to do with one hand when you're not coordinated like me. When we checked them a few hours ago, they were probably 16 to 17. And that one is probably 10%. That one quick. That one not quite so much. I would say we better go get the draper or at least bring the other combine over and test them. There's only 25 acres left here. It may make sense to only run one machine, not switch the other one over from corn. I know we don't have any corn that looks like it's gonna pick. It would be easy just to run the smaller machine and not waste a bunch of time. There's a few fields, all of the same bean, that look like they'd actually cut right now, surprisingly. We're gonna make a little bit of a logistical choice here. We have this field to the north, quarter mile. We're gonna pull the 670 out of the shed, hook up this draper to it, go see if it'll cut, and if it'll cut, we may just keep this combine here on its own running. The 45-foot draper is southeast of Lakeland, so 6 or 7 miles away. You remember a few videos ago when we pulled into that field, it's just kind of dangerous, a lot of traffic, narrow bridge. If everything works out right, we may keep one combine here running on its own and then move the big combine over where the draper is so we don't have to haul that big draper back and forth multiple times. Just kind of keep the risk off the table for us and not have to be on those busy highways. Hydraulic leak right here. not, this is less dangerous than pulling into that field on Route 45. I also radioed him and told him it was clear, so it's not like he's driving blindly.
How are we going to tell what the moisture is?
What do you mean?
Does this work?
I thought it worked. Sprayer guy got 2 rows right there.
What the hell is that?
You're banging something. Probably a rock in the feeder house.
You think I got something?
Sounded like it. Or you want to dump the rock guard?
Yeah. Nothing. Small one. Which one slows his head down?
The reel is the second knob. That one. We already cut a little bit of these beans the other day and they were too wet. Combine's showing them at 15 to 16 right now, so we might cut a little bit and take a sample. Left side of the screen says set B, and now hit 2. It's that easy. Chris is running a sample of those beans, the elevator. They're showing 15, 16 plus on the monitor, so they'll be too wet to cut if that's the case. We're gonna pick some ends off of a few more fields while we wait on the beans to dry, if they dry at all. That way we've got easier access to a couple more farms. Pulling out of the field from this morning, Dad's running on this little patch over here. 116-day DeKalb corn planted, 3rd week of April. Unless it's extremely dry, we're only going to pick enough to allow easier access to the soybean field next door. I would not pick any more corn. I think you got more on the cab. Classic. This little patch here is DeKalb 6606, which I believe is a pretty strong hybrid. Behind the main farm, we've got 150 acres of Pioneer 14830, which was really good last year. Hoping this is good corn because this is good dirt. Based off of what we picked a little bit ago this morning, not too optimistic right now. Someone's making a mess. Dad's gonna park out of the way. I'm gonna load this truck here with our nice corn. I can't remember if the combine said 21 or 22%. The yield looked a lot better than the first field we picked today. Grain cart's empty. Now we wait. Chris said at the elevator that sample of soybeans that we cut an hour ago was 15.5. That's looking pretty unlikely that it'll harvest today. And those are drier than the ones where the 45-foot dripper is, so we may not be doing anything even if we want to. Just taking that load to the elevator, 21, 22% with half price drying. It's like picking 19% corn. I want to give some flowers real quick to Sloan's Express, because the last video I posted, I talked about the hopper extension we had put on and all the issues, and I thought I was pretty kind and fair about it. They were out here today trying to figure out what went wrong, why the product didn't fit our combine correctly. It has nothing to do with us being special. It's more so that they want to take care of their customers. It really felt like they were just concerned that they're selling a product that didn't fit the way it should have. They don't want it to just be a fire and forget. They want to make sure everything's taken care of from start to finish, and I gotta appreciate that. Our curiosity is getting the best of us. Dad's gonna go cut a sample real quick. It's been an hour and a half or so. They may have dried, they may have not dried at all. Won't know unless you cut. Whew. I could not have chose a worse place to stay, because I just got bathed with bean dust. forecast? 19.7? That's not bad. Did they dry off at all?
Well, according to that, yeah.
Half a point?
Wasn't it 15?
Yeah.
15.8 or something on that? These are about 14.6 on top of the hill.
We've looked at a lot of fields of soybeans and they all actually look mature. It's just a matter of when they dry out, and it's probably not going to be before these hurricane rains move in tonight or early tomorrow. As much as we'd like them to, I don't think the beans are going to cut today. And with the rain moving in, it doesn't seem like they're going to cut tomorrow. So we're going to put everything back in the shed. Dad and I are afraid that we're going to put everything away and then Jeff's going to call us and tell us that that load tested 13% at the elevator, and then we'll be obligated to get everything back out. I don't think that's going to happen because those beans looked a lot wetter than 13%. Tarp the cart so the corn doesn't get stinky in there from the rain and humidity, and then put the auger up so water can't get down in there and also make that stick. Just for a point of clarification, Sloan's did not pay me to say something kind about them. They came out here, they not like to ask me to take the video down, they just said, we saw your video and obviously things weren't right, and we want to make sure, not just for you but for other customers, that whatever the issue is gets figured out, because we don't want anyone else upset if they order the same grain tank extension, it doesn't work on their machine. They were just doing research. It's hard to not appreciate a company that is looking out for their customers, no matter how big or how small, and we're on the smaller side, I think. Jeff called, he said the beans are 13.5.
Are you
Yeah. I knew that's exactly what you would say too. Talking to buddies and other farmers in the area, I don't know that there's a single field of beans, no matter how mature it was, that's dry enough to cut. Honestly, those at 14% were the driest I've heard. If you're putting them in your bin, you could probably go ahead and run them. We don't know if we're even going to store beans this year, which is a discussion for a different day. Coal Station, who was offering half-price drying, had to shut down because they had dryer issues. Either they had legitimate issues or that's just code for they got too much corn too quickly and they're full. Doran's is still running. Most of what I heard is coming in at 16 to 22%. Anything wetter than that, no one's even trying to pick yet. It's just too much to lose in drying and shrink. The sun has set for today. It'll be dark before too long. Rain's moving our way. Could be a little, could be a lot. I'll let you know. Here's that pesky hurricane. Oh, okay. Keying in formation. Come on, O'Malley. Throw on a show for us. I'm guessing this is the cat's first hurricane. We've even got fitting cups just for the occasion. The big one. You ever survived a hurricane in Illinois? You ever drink Bailey's from a shoe? Most of you probably won't get that reference. It's only rained a couple tenths so far. Been kind of windy. We got something to do this morning, that's for sure. Whew, that is a cold rain. Yes, the combine's outside. No, we don't really want it to. This is a further development in the grain tank extension fiasco that we dealt with. Back up so I don't get hit. He will definitely hit me. I've seen him do it before.
close the barn doors and double hook them?
Alrighty, it's time to go cut some beans. Color me surprised because I didn't think they'd go today. With the weather and all, you know. No, I hope you didn't believe that. This is horrible bean cutting weather. Totally the opposite. This is a further development in the grain tank extension fiasco we've been dealing with, because before they took it off, it bent all that stuff on the back, and they went to look at this morning to install the other brand of hopper extension and realized that it's so bent in there, and maybe I'm over dramatizing it a little bit. A couple important pieces to installing a different extension are bent enough that they want it at the dealership so they can cut on it, weld on it. I'm not exactly sure. It's something they didn't want to do here in our shed. The hopper extension continues to be a nightmare for us. It's not that big of a deal. It's just been unnecessarily problematic, and just driving that combine to town is probably gonna lose $10,000 in value. Being dramatic about the depreciation too. I can't quite put my thumb on it. For some reason, I've always really enjoyed this weather. Nice steady rain, chilly outside, kind of fall-esque type feel. I also like sunny and 70. The problem with that weather is I feel like I have to be getting stuff done. When it's like this, other than paperwork and record keeping, not a whole lot you can do that's productive, unless the grain tank extension on your combine's bad and you gotta drive the combine to town. So that's a development for sure. It's gonna be one of those days. They said up to 3 inches. If all it does is this, we won't even get an inch today. We'll be able to run by Monday or Tuesday. The silver lining is it's a great day to have your combine worked on if it needs it. As of 5 o'clock this afternoon, we've had 8/10 of rain. It's supposed to keep spitting like this for the next hour or two, so we'll probably end up with about an inch. There's a chance tomorrow that's pretty minimal. I didn't think the wind ever really got that severe. It did whip around a little bit, and I'm noticing some of this 14-830, and you may not be able to see it on camera just because it's half mile down the road, is laid over out there. I'm guessing that the plant isn't leaned over, the top just broke out of it, which is more of a plant health issue, not a standability issue. Typically once the top goes out, you know the stock strength overall isn't perfect. And I've also not been out there, so the plant could be leaned over. I can see it from a half mile away, so something is definitely up out there. That's Pioneer 14-830. It has really good plant health, or it did up until now. Maybe the wind was more than I thought. It'll be a while before we get to it, because if we only get an inch of rain, we'll take the weekend off, and then we'll be cutting beans, I bet, by Tuesday. It's Friday. Got a sick little one at home, so it couldn't have rained at a more perfect time, helping my wife somewhat keep an eye on him, keep his temperature down. It's that time of year. Allergies and sickness. The joys of life. I do think that's going to be it for me. Should be tuning back in the next 2 or 3 days. Hopefully firing up the machines. If they even get the grain tank fixed on the combine, the new extension on, that may be another can of worms to open up, but we're not going to do it in this video. Appreciate you all tuning in. Sure hope I see you in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.